Hi everyone. In this video, we'll show you how you can use VoiceAIWrapper with leading voice AI service providers like ElevenLabs Conversational AI or Vapi or let's say a Retell to run outbound sales calls. So for this demo, we will take the example of creating an agent in Vapi or ElevenLabs, and I'll show you how you can use that agent created in either of these products, and you can plug that into VoiceAIWrapper where you will find pre-built templates. There are, when I say templates, I'm talking about outbound calling templates, wherein you'll find controls related to adding leads, controlling your call cadence. You'll also be able to track call output, call recordings, transcripts, and also get analytics from your campaigns. Let's jump into it. Let's take an example where we are creating our calling agent in a product like Vapi. So I'll head over to Create Assistant, and I can either use the pre-built template to start creating an assistant, or if you are familiar with how prompting is done, you can go ahead and create your agent right here. Right. One important thing to follow while you're creating agents, especially for sales, is to ensure that you tell the system that you want to capture what VP calls structured data. Different products has different names for this, but using this, you can capture key information like email, or for example, let's say you want to capture location, yeah, and you mark them as required. When you do this, and then you head over to your agent prompt and you say, make sure you capture this particular detail. VP has a help documentation on how to use structured data. Similarly, you can do the same thing if you're creating agents within ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs, for your reference, has multiple products. And when you log into your ElevenLabs account, you will see a new option called Agent Platform. This is their conversational AI platform. ElevenLabs is well known for voice, but they also have recently released a complete conversational AI platform. So similarly, just like Vapi, inside ElevenLabs, you can capture structured data. Same thing happens in retail. They just call it by different names, but they serve the same function. So when you are adding this structured data components and adding it to the agent prompt, you're basically telling the agent that during the call, specifically ask for these details. And you are also telling the system to save these details in the call output. So when the call happens and the agent is talking to your contact, it is going to save those details, and then you can use these details to send over to your CRM and basically meet the key metrics that your sales agent needs to perform on. You can, of course, also add tools. Tools are basically functions. Tools are actions such as booking an appointment or maybe sending an SMS. Right? Some products have these functions built in. Yeah, or in certain products like ElevenLabs, for example, every product voice provider offers these, and in some products there are templates available. In certain products, you need to build them from scratch. So this is not very complicated, and you can probably look up their help file or some YouTube videos on how to create tool calls. So this takes care of on-call or post-call operations like sending them a link or checking for calendar availability and booking meetings or sending an SMS during call or post-call. All these are handled using tool calls, right? So once I've created my agent inside VP, I will then open up VoiceAIWrapper. VoiceAIWrapper allows you to leverage these leading voice technology providers like ElevenLabs and VP and so on, and then use inbound and outbound calling workflows, which are built in to automate your sales process. So the first step is to connect your voice API provider, and it's very easy. You just need to follow the step-by-step instructions. Add your account keys from, let's say, an ElevenLabs or VP, and your voice provider will be connected, just like you see here, right? And once you've connected this, you will see a pod like this appear. When you head over to the pod, you'll see an option called campaigns on the left, right? This is where you can create both inbound as well as outbound campaign. We'll focus on an outbound campaign today. Now I'll head over to a live pod. So I've added a pod from VP. I've also ensured that I have a concurrency of 8 for outbound calling. Concurrency is the number of parallel simultaneous calls that you can run at the same time. Now inside this pod, I see that all my assistants and everything that I have created in VP has synced, right? This includes the tool calls, the workflows, phone numbers, everything that I own is synced. And then when I head over to campaigns, now I get to create an inbound or outbound campaign. We'll go to a campaign which is already created. So let's take a look at this campaign. So for outbound, especially, the first and foremost or important thing is to add leads. So we have multiple options to add leads. You can add leads directly from an external source like your CRM system or a Google Sheet using our lead add API. You can add leads along with their custom variables. And as long as you are instructing the agent in the prompt to use these custom variables during the call, you can personalize the call, right? So for example, if you're calling Jane and Jane is in Connecticut, and then the Connecticut is, let's say, a variable in the lead data, and in the agent prompt you are telling the agent to greet the person with the location, keeping the location in mind. So hi Jane, I know that you're in Connecticut. So you will add a tag there, a data tag, and you can learn about this inside Vapi. Each product has their own way of doing it. But when you add that personalization token inside the agent prompt, then based on the data that you're importing and based on our lead mapping, the agent can automatically personalize the call based on whatever attribute you have available for that lead in your CRM system or wherever your lead information is being stored. This is especially useful if you're calling people who submit an ad form. The agent can talk about the exact pain point or exact requirement that they mentioned while submitting a sales form or an ad form. Right? So this is how you import leads. And then there are multiple ways to import leads. You can also upload a CSV file. You can add manually. Of course, most people would prefer adding it with a CSV or via API, which is the cleanest and the best. And then you have certain very important controls, right? So for calling, this is important from a compliance as well as from a campaign success point of view. The first thing is your phone number. So for outbound, when you're dialing a bunch of leads, it's recommended that you do not use the same number for calling multiple leads, just to make sure your numbers don't end up in spam. So we have this feature called phone pools. Phone pools basically, as the name suggests, allows you to add multiple numbers into a pool. And then when you're creating your campaign, you can basically assign that number pool to your campaign instead of calling from one single number. The next step is to associate your agent. So whichever agent you have created for this campaign, you can add it here. Then you have tight controls over the calling schedule, right? So you don't want to spam people with too many calls, and you want to call within business hours. So you can control all of that here. You can also ensure that you comply with calling regulations. So you can control your dialing attempts for every contact. You can also spread out your calls for every lead. And then you can also control whether you want to consider voicemail. Right? If you are, let's say, doing a reactivation campaign and you don't want to keep on calling people and you just want to drop a friendly message or a nudge, then maybe leaving a voicemail is enough for the campaign. So depending on the nature of your campaign, you can mark this as answered or unanswered. Anyone who picks up the call is not going to be called again. However, if there's a special scenario where you need to call someone again, the lead update API can do multiple things. It can also mark a lead as do not call, or it can update that lead status to initiate another call if required. Now, if you're doing stepped campaigns, that is, let's say you've done a campaign one where you have pitched an offer, and for everybody that you who has said maybe, you want to do another reach out wherein the agent says, "Hey, I know you expressed interest in our offer, so here are some details." Right? If you want to do something like that, which is like a funnel campaign, then it's very easy. During the first step, all the call information from the campaign can go out using a webhook. This can the call outcome, the call transcripts, the everything can go out from our system to your CRM system. And then again, you can, so basically if you're out of 100 leads, if 50 leads said, yes, I want to hear more about it, right? And now you have a different script altogether for people who said, yes, I want to hear about it. Then you're going to create a second campaign, which will be kind of mildly interested campaign. And then you can trigger a call separately to these guys with a different script altogether, right? So this webhook URL is going to send those mildly interested leads information back to your CRM. Then in the next campaign, you are going to specifically import only those leads who are mildly interested and have a different agent type who is going to call with a completely different script for those kind of people. And this can go on. So you can run multi-step campaigns and check campaign ROI or conversions at every step. Yeah. The other thing that your campaign is going to provide you, of course, are call logs. So you're going to get detailed call logs, recordings, and transcripts from these calls. I've intentionally hidden them because this is like a public demo, but you're going to get all of this information, and you can send that information to either your CRM, or you can point it to a make or a N8N automation and scrub it and only send the information that you need back to your CRM system. Another thing that our campaigns provide, and I'm going to use a dummy campaign with some data here to show you that, are campaign analytics. Right? So we provide detailed analytics on loads of things, right? So how many calls picked up, your campaign ROI. Yeah. So the one thing to note is with VoiceAI, the advantage here is you're only paying for those calls where people are picking up and talking. You're just paying for voice minutes, right? So your cost of operations is pretty low. You are paying VoiceAIWrapper a fixed subscription fee, and you're paying your voice provider on actuals. We do not mark up any fees, only when people are talking. So even if you call like hundreds and thousands of warm leads, your cost of operations is going to be relatively very low compared to what it's going to cost you if you put a probably a live rep on the phone. And talking about live reps, when these calls are happening, you can also go ahead and instruct your agent to transfer these calls directly to another live person. And that is something that you set up inside your voice AI agent, which is the agent configured inside your voice provider, which can be Vapi or ElevenLabs or any other product, right? So you can have the first level of conversation happen with the AI agent, and then maybe based on whether people are interested or not, or if they speak a specific term on the call, you can transfer that over to a live person. Another advantage that VoiceAIWrapper offers, especially for outbound sales, is you can bring in this automation even for your website visitors, which means you can create a web widget, and it's very simple. This web widget basically runs off the voice agent that you have configured in your voice provider, and you can put your logo, your branding, and you can take this code, and there's a preview which is generated once you create the widget, right? So these are like one of those automated agents that you see on several websites. You can take this embed code, put it in a website, and then you can add important things like legal consent before the agent dials out and everything. So on your website, when a visitor comes in, you can ask for their phone number, and you can ask them, hey, do you want me to give you a call right now? And as soon as they click on this, for example, and they consent uh, based on the legal consent that you've added here, you can have an instant call triggered out, a qualification call triggered out without any delay in the lead qualification process. And if the lead is qualified or valuable, that lead can be transferred directly to a live rep, or an appointment can be booked, an SMS can be sent, or whatever action you choose, right? I hope this helps explain, and I hope this helps you understand how you can use VoiceAIWrapper with leading voice providers to set up workflows which help you scale outbound in sales. Feel free to reach out to us using our support chat if you have any questions. This is available even on our website, voiceairwrapper.com. Thank you, and meet you in our next video.